What if one of history's greatest discoveries began with a mistake? What if a man changed the world without realizing where he was? The story sounds impossible, yet it is real. Christopher Columbus remains one of the most famous explorers in history. His voyage transformed the world. His name entered countless history books. His journey connected continents. But there is a fascinating irony. Columbus believed he knew his destination. He believed he understood geography. He believed his calculations were correct. History would prove otherwise. To understand his mistake, we must understand his world. The year was 1492. Maps were incomplete. Knowledge was limited. The oceans remained mysterious. For Europeans, Asia represented opportunity. Asia represented wealth. Asia represented luxury. Asia represented possibility. Spices were especially valuable. Pepper commanded high prices. Cinnamon commanded high prices. Cloves commanded high prices. Trade routes generated enormous profits. Merchants competed intensely. Kingdoms competed intensely. Everyone wanted access to Asian markets. The problem was distance. The problem was cost. The problem was danger. Traditional routes were difficult. Some passed through hostile territory. Some required multiple intermediaries. Some created political complications. Explorers searched for alternatives. Columbus offered one. His proposal seemed simple. If the Earth was round, why not sail west? To reach Asia in the east? The concept attracted attention. The concept inspired curiosity. The concept promised rewards. Yet there was a critical flaw. Columbus underestimated Earth's size. He miscalculated distances. He misunderstood geography. His numbers were wrong. Many experts recognized this issue. Many scholars remained skeptical. Many advisors expressed concern. The voyage appeared risky. Some believed it was impossible. Others believed it was reckless. Still, Columbus remained confident. Persistence defined his character. Doubt rarely stopped him. Rejection rarely stopped him. Failure rarely stopped him. Eventually, support arrived. Spain agreed to sponsor the expedition. The opportunity became reality. Preparations began. 3 ships were selected. The Niña joined the mission. The Pinta joined the mission. The Santa Maria joined the mission. Crews assembled. Supplies were loaded. Expectations grew. The ships departed. Behind them stood certainty. Ahead of them stood mystery. No one knew exactly what awaited beyond the horizon. No one knew how long the journey would last. No one knew whether success was possible. The Atlantic stretched endlessly. The risks were enormous. The stakes were enormous. And as the ships moved westward, Columbus carried a belief that would shape history, a belief that he was sailing toward India. The voyage began with optimism. The crews felt excitement. The mission felt historic. The future seemed promising. At first, the Atlantic appeared calm. The winds cooperated. The ships advanced steadily. Confidence remained strong. Days passed, then weeks passed. Still no land appeared. The horizon never changed. Water surrounded them endlessly. The sailors noticed. The sailors worried. The sailors questioned. The sailors whispered. Anxiety spread gradually. Every sunrise looked familiar. Every sunset looked familiar. Every day resembled the previous one. Monotony became exhausting. The ocean seemed infinite. The distance seemed impossible. The uncertainty became unbearable. Fear gained strength. Many sailors had never traveled so far from home. Many relied on faith. Many relied on hope. Many relied on Columbus. But confidence is fragile. It weakens under pressure. It weakens under isolation. It weakens under uncertainty. Rumors began circulating. Some questioned the maps. Some questioned the mission. Some questioned the commander. The tension increased. Food supplies mattered. Fresh water mattered. Morale mattered. All 3 faced challenges. The farther west they sailed, the harder retreat became. Every mile forward made returning more difficult. Every mile forward increased the risk. The crew understood this reality. Doubt became common. Frustration became common. Arguments became common. The atmosphere changed. Columbus remained determined. He projected confidence. He encouraged perseverance. He insisted success was near. Yet even he must have felt pressure. Leadership carries burdens. Leadership carries responsibility. Leadership carries fear. Failure would be catastrophic. Imagine standing on that deck. Imagine seeing nothing but water. Imagine hearing growing criticism. Imagine carrying everyone's hopes. The weight was enormous. The stakes were enormous. History often remembers outcomes. It sometimes forgets uncertainty. At that moment, victory was not guaranteed. Discovery was not guaranteed. Survival was not guaranteed. The expedition approached a breaking point. Some accounts suggest the possibility of mutiny. Some sailors wanted to turn back. Some believed disaster awaited. Some believed they had gone too far. The conflict became serious. Trust was tested. Patience was tested. Determination was tested. Then subtle signs appeared. Floating branches drifted by. Birds appeared more frequently. Natural clues offered encouragement. Hope returned cautiously. Excitement mixed with skepticism. Could land be near? Could the journey succeed? Could Columbus be right? The crews watched carefully. The tension reached its peak. One answer would change everything. And on a morning in October, after weeks of uncertainty, a cry echoed across the sea. Land had finally been spotted. The moment finally arrived. A lookout spotted land. Excitement exploded across the ships. Relief overwhelmed the crews. Weeks of uncertainty vanished instantly. Weeks of fear seemed worthwhile. Weeks of doubt faded away. Celebration filled the air. For the sailors, the sight was miraculous. For Columbus, the sight was confirmation. His gamble had succeeded. His confidence seemed justified. The expedition approached the shore. The coastline grew clearer. Details emerged slowly. Trees appeared. Beaches appeared. Signs of life appeared. The world before them looked unfamiliar. Yet Columbus interpreted it through the lens of expectation. This detail matters. Human beings often see what they expect to see. They interpret evidence through existing beliefs. Columbus was no exception. He believed he had reached Asia. He believed he had reached the outskirts of India. He believed his calculations had been correct all along. That assumption shaped everything. The islands were beautiful. The environment was rich. The climate felt inviting. The discovery seemed extraordinary. Soon, the explorers encountered local inhabitants. The meeting was historic. The meeting was complex. The meeting changed history forever. The people they met were not Indians. They belonged to entirely different cultures. They possessed entirely different histories. They lived in entirely different worlds. But Columbus did not know that. His misunderstanding continued. His confidence remained strong. His conclusions remained unchanged. The mistake deepened because he believed he had reached India. He referred to the inhabitants as Indians. The name endured. The error endured. The consequences endured. History absorbed the mistake. Today, centuries later, the terminology still echoes through many languages and cultures. At the time, however, the misunderstanding seemed reasonable to those involved. Knowledge remained limited. Maps remained incomplete. Geography remained uncertain. Many mysteries persisted. Columbus searched for clues. He searched for signs of Asia. He searched for familiar references. He searched for confirmation. Every observation was interpreted accordingly. Every encounter was filtered through expectation. Every discovery supported an existing belief. This phenomenon is common. People often seek evidence that confirms their assumptions. People often overlook contradictions. People often resist uncertainty. Columbus demonstrated all three tendencies. The irony is remarkable. He had discovered lands unknown to Europeans. He had crossed an ocean that many feared. He had achieved something extraordinary, yet he misunderstood the nature of his achievement. Standing on those shores, he believed he had reached Asia. Standing on those shores, he believed he had proven himself right. Standing on those shores, he had no idea that he was participating in one of history's greatest geographical mistakes. And the most surprising part was still to come. One question remains. Why did Columbus continue believing he had reached Asia? The answer is surprisingly human. People rarely abandon beliefs easily, especially beliefs tied to success, especially beliefs tied to identity, especially beliefs tied to ambition. Columbus had invested everything. Years of effort, years of rejection, years of determination. His entire reputation rested on a single idea. That idea was simple: sail west, reach Asia, prove the skeptics wrong. The voyage appeared successful. Land had been found, resources had been found, people had been encountered. From Columbus's perspective, the evidence seemed supportive. Contradictions existed, but contradictions can be ignored. The islands looked unfamiliar. The cultures looked unfamiliar. The geography looked unfamiliar. Yet Columbus found explanations. He believed he had reached remote parts of Asia. He believed further exploration would reveal familiar regions. He expected confirmation eventually. That confirmation never arrived. Still, his confidence endured. Reports were sent to Spain. Reports described opportunities. Reports described discoveries. Reports described achievements. The news spread rapidly. Europe became fascinated. Kings paid attention. Merchants paid attention. Explorers paid attention. Curiosity increased. Interest increased. Competition increased. The discoveries generated excitement. Yet geography remained confusing. Maps remained uncertain. Distances remained uncertain. The world's true shape remained imperfectly understood. As additional voyages occurred, new information accumulated. More islands were explored. More coastlines were explored. More observations were recorded. The puzzle became larger. The puzzle became stranger. The puzzle became harder to explain. Some explorers noticed inconsistencies. Some scholars raised questions. Some navigators expressed doubts. The evidence kept growing. If these lands were Asia, why did they appear so different? If these lands were Asia, why did maps fail to match? If these lands were Asia, where were the expected cities? The questions multiplied. The answers remained elusive. Yet Columbus resisted. The most obvious conclusion. His commitment was powerful. His belief was powerful. His reputation was involved. Changing his position would require admitting error. That is difficult for many people. It was difficult then. It remains difficult today. History often celebrates discoveries. History often celebrates courage. History sometimes overlooks psychology, but psychology matters. The human mind seeks consistency. The human mind protects beliefs. The human mind dislikes uncertainty. Columbus demonstrated those tendencies. Even as evidence accumulated, he remained convinced. Even as mysteries deepened, he remained convinced. Even as the world changed, he remained convinced. And because of that, one of history's greatest explorers would spend years defending a conclusion that was fundamentally wrong. The ultimate irony was that the truth was larger and more extraordinary than anything he imagined. Eventually, new explorers followed. New voyages expanded knowledge. New observations challenged assumptions. The mystery deepened. Among those explorers was Amerigo Vespucci. His journeys proved influential. His writings gained attention. His conclusions gained support. Unlike Columbus, Vespucci began considering a different possibility. Perhaps these lands were not part of Asia. Perhaps they represented something entirely new. The idea seemed radical. The idea seemed unbelievable. The idea seemed revolutionary. Yet evidence supported it. The coastlines were enormous. The geography was unfamiliar. The distances were immense. The puzzle pieces aligned differently. Gradually, a remarkable realization emerged. The explorers had not reached Asia. They had encountered continents unknown to Europeans. This conclusion transformed geography. This conclusion transformed maps. This conclusion transformed history. The world suddenly became larger. The implications were profound. Trade would change. Politics would change. Empires would change. Civilizations would change. A new era was beginning. Ironically, the man most associated with the discovery never fully embraced the truth. Columbus continued believing he had reached Asia. He continued defending his original conclusion. He continued searching for confirmation. It never came. History remembers him for discovering the new world. Yet he likely never understood the true nature of his achievement. That irony remains fascinating. A man can change history without fully understanding it. A man can alter the world while misunderstanding reality. A man can be both brilliant and mistaken. Columbus embodied that paradox. His calculations were wrong. His assumptions were wrong. His geography was wrong, yet his voyage succeeded. That contradiction matters. History is rarely simple. Success does not always require perfect understanding. Discovery does not always require accurate conclusions. Sometimes progress emerges from unexpected errors. Sometimes mistakes reveal possibilities. Sometimes being wrong leads somewhere extraordinary. The consequences of Columbus's voyage were immense. Cultures encountered one another, goods crossed oceans, ideas crossed oceans, diseases crossed oceans, opportunities emerged, conflicts emerged, wealth expanded, tragedies unfolded. The world became interconnected in ways never seen before. Generations felt the impact. Entire continents felt the impact. Human history changed course. And it all began with a voyage seeking Asia, a voyage that found something else, a voyage guided by confidence, a voyage shaped by error, a voyage remembered forever. Perhaps that is the greatest twist in the entire story. Christopher Columbus did not change the world because he found what he was looking for. He changed the world because he found something he never expected, and he spent the rest of his life believing it was somewhere else.